for me, as a representative of our CKR Committee of St. Martin, not being the chair of the committee any longer, it was a bit bittersweet. As you may have noticed in my early press releases, I was disillusioned that our CKR chair was not present at these meetings. Towards the end or the latter part of the week, both members did show up. However, by then, it had lost its gist for me. Why was that important? Tuesday, we had our tripartite discussions where they were not there. So you don't know what was discussed, you don't know where St. Martin is going. In fact, the chair wasn't there for the last meeting either that we had in preparation for this IPCO. So for me, I find that is lagging behind in terms of St. Martin's representation. Never mind that. During the first meeting with all four parliaments, which was on Tuesday, the first official day of IPCO, I believe that at St. Martin we were still able to speak up, especially on the topic of the Venezuela, which, as many know, went viral. I think it went viral for a reason, and that the people are finally looking for that type of representation in the sense of standing. What I have noticed, and this is only my second IPCO, is that behind closed doors a lot is said, but then once we are out in the public, it's like ironing it out smoothly so as not to offend. Now, that does not mean to say that the statements made by this member of parliament was meant to offend anyone. But I believe honesty has its place, transparency has its place in these types of consultations. And so after that Tuesday meeting, where all four countries were able to publicly express their opinions, their feelings and sentiments, and the facts, as it were, as to how their countries experience the situation with Venezuela, we were told in no uncertain terms that it would not continue this way. And as a matter of fact, even on that topic, it was split up into committees, and everybody agreed with this. And we went into separate rooms, discussed for a short period of time, and then certain conclusions are drawn, and then they are coming back today in the decision list. So there is no public finalization of a point that started very publicly. To me, I find this an injustice to the general public who find it their business to tune into these meetings. Yes, you can hear a decision list, but for those who were following that press conference just now, do you get a good indication as to what the decisions were on these very important points? I do not believe so. But I do see that many of the questions coming from the press did force a bigger discussion from the chairs of the various parliaments to answer to the people. So I'm proud of that. The discussion on the dispute regulation, which manipulated the press conference, did not warrant not even 2 hours of discussion. And that, for me, I find a disservice. It was divided into committees again, as I mentioned, so out of the public eye, and then the synopsis is given. And so the public doesn't get a gist of what really went on, and then they will continue to keep this impression in their minds that nothing happens at these types of meetings, which I think is incorrect also. We did make good strides last IPCO to get the government to make sure they put forward the dispute regulation law. What has come out, though, is disrespectful. I mentioned that in my discourse on Venezuela, and I was hoping it would come back. You know, we would have an opportunity as countries to clearly state why we disagreed with the law that has been put forward and why it is disrespectful. Because if 4 parliaments take a decision and a motion is put forward that these 3 points, as the chairlady mentioned just now, must be in the law, how can they dare to present a law that does not contain not even 2 of the 3? And specifically that it's a body that is not connected. So we go back again to the Kingdom Council of Ministers Committee to make a recommendation, which is then binding only if they feel like allowing it to be binding. So there's nothing binding about it. There's nothing that is, outside of any political body's control, and which we know this democratic deficit we're talking about is specifically about the islands not having a say. And that's why the question of the member from the Curacao delegation press in terms of, yes, we will be able to make amendments, we will be able to X, we will be able to Y, but we won't be able to vote on something that affects us. And so at the end of the day, that's why some people say, well, this was for then. What was this for? So can I say I'm satisfied with the results of the IPCO? No. I can say that I find that the voice of the people was silenced during the IPCO, and we are trying to appease and please those in power.
Tell them, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
But the cost of living increase was not zero, so we cannot accept a zero adjustment for the whole of 2019. Based on the publication of the Statistical Department of TEAT on the consumer price increase during the months of September till December 2017, the months after Irma, cost of living was not zero, but the consumer price index increased steadily. And we quote from their press statement, their press release published on May the 1st, 2018. The developments in overall consumer prices has shown a steady increasing trend over the past 3 years period with little fluctuations. There are 9 household expenditure categories used to calculate the total consumer price index. 3 of these account for 69% of the total household expenditure. These are housing, transportation and communication, food. And so when we look in this statement, it said that for housing, as of September 2017, that is from the moment that Irma passed, to December 2017, once again, the prices for this category has recorded a noticeable increase. Energy expenses and maintenance of dwelling have influenced the increase in this category. Furthermore, it should be noted that the index figures for the last quarter of 2017, that's the quarter from September till December after the passing of Irma, are the highest that it has been since 2006. About food, they concluded that over the past 3 years, the price index for this category has recorded a steady increase. The prices of meat and fish, dairy products, potatoes, vegetables, and fruits have influenced the increase in the food category. It should be noted, we're still reading what they wrote, that the price index of food for the last quarter of 2017 is the highest that it has been since 2006. A likely result, they concluded, of the passage of Hurricane Irma. So on behalf of the Consumer Coalition, we have asked the Stat Department to provide us the estimated consumer price index for 2018. The Seniors and Pensioners Association has requested the management of SZV for an urgent meeting to discuss with them alternatives to correct this social injustice of not paying the adjustment to the cost of living.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Stephanie Medina and I play football with the Walichi Women's Soccer team. I have represented St. Martin in many different games. For example, the Dutch Caribbean Women's Soccer Cup. I played against Bonaire, Aruba, and Curacao right here in this stadium. Sports matter to me because it makes me happy, it keeps me fit and healthy, and it is very fun. So I asked the business community to take on this challenge and help us rebuild our facilities. And I also asked the community to nominate the local businesses in your area and take on the challenge and step up for sport. Why? Because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sport Facebook page for more information. Hashtag sports matter, hashtag are you in?
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Bib now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact WIB today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Wynwood Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Who you're for.
Since 1010, we and St. Martin have gone backwards. Prior to 10-10-10, St. Martin was ahead in terms of social dialogue and implementing high labor standards. We St. Martin was the only island in the Netherlands Antilles where the Minister of Labour at the time allowed the Commissioner, the Executive Council on St. Martin, the business community, and the trade unions to negotiate their own minimum wage. And we did that. That was one time. It never happened again. What has been happening since then is that the government have been putting what you call indexation on the cost of living and apply it to increase the minimum wage. Okay, that happened. That had happened a few times, but has been a while now since that never took place. But the direct negotiation for the increase of minimum wage has to be based on social dialogue, tripartisan, where the business community, like we did back then, the Labour Department representing government, and the Chamber of Unions representing the workers, we sat down then, and that must happen again, because there are certain factors, there are certain realities that we have to discuss and talk about. You know, there are a number of factors that cause prices to go up, and there's no control, absolutely. But based on our open market, our open economy system, based on what we call a free market enterprise, and you don't want to lose that kind of a status, because it's important. That has been, let's say, the foundation for St. Martin economic growth and development. But the partners, business, government, and labor, has to sit down and discuss how we can control the cost of living, and in terms of increasing the minimum wage. Because the truth is, let's look now at the construction. There's no unskilled person outside there working in the field of construction making the minimum wage. They're making much more than that, much more the skilled workers. All right, but in the other sector, you find some people are still making the minimum wage. That should not be the case, because the cost of living here in St. Martin is very expensive. And so, but you need to have that dialogue. What we have been able to do as a workers' organization via our CLA, and that's part of the way you call the bipartite dialogue between union and business. We negotiate annual wage increase in our CLA. So let's say over a 3-year period, the workers know that every year they will get a 3% increase, a 5% increase, you know, accordingly. Besides that, you have other fringe benefits like vacation allowance, Christmas bonus, time off with pay for certain things and so on, which will not diminish your income. So, as the trade union, you have that individual ability via your CLA, your collective labor agreement, to negotiate an annual increase. You can't wait on government, you can't wait on the cost of living or the minimum wage to increase, otherwise people will just work and suffer. And that's one of the things that WIFL has been able to bring tranquility and stability in our economy, because of our collective labor agreements and our annual wage increase for workers. If we had to wait for minimum wage to increase, there'll be social unrest, there'll be industrial unrest. So, you know, but in general, there need to be that dialogue between government, unions, and business, like we did back before, you know, when we had the executive council system and so on. Now, it is Parliament now who has to address those things, make the laws accordingly, but that consensus should be based on the tripartisan social dialogue. Even though we have a tripartite system in place, you know, you need to have that to be a permanent discussion to address the cost of living.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
One,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness. Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as 1.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
On Monday, I, along with Dr. Anders Yvette Halley, head of the Division of Exams, and who's also our local CXC registrar, we were invited to give information about the CXC examination system to representatives from the parliaments of Curaçao, Aruba, and also St. Martin, as they held the tripartite discussions here on Monday. One of the topics of the discussion at the tripartite meeting was cooperation between the countries in the area of education, and particularly at the level of the CXE examinations for secondary education. The information presented was well received, and Aruba, particularly, where English is widely spoken, wants to definitely follow up with our local CXC registrar to get more information on the CXC system. Since my time in office as minister, I have committed to issuing quarterly newsletters to my fellow ministers and to the general public. I believe it is necessary to share in the pursuit of transparency and accountability. The second edition of my newsletter, Mackey's Moves 2, is available online. You can find the link on the Facebook page of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, and you will also be able to find this edition as promised, the vacation schedules for the next 3 academic years. Mentioned also in this edition of Mackey's Moves are the options available for study financing. The division Study Financing is now accepting applications online for continuing higher education at home, within the region, or internationally. Please note that the deadline for applying for the regular study financing is January 15th. Persons who may not qualify for regular study financing still have the opportunity to get financial support to study via the program Study in the Region. The region is broad, so this program enables you to study right here at the University of St. Martin and at any recognized college or university in the Caribbean, in the United States, or even in Central or South America. The deadline for the Study in the Region program is January 31st, 2019, and the application process is the same as the one for regular study financing, which means you have to apply online. Information about these study financing options are mentioned in my newsletter as well as on the ministry's Facebook page, and you can also access the information via the website Study Financing, one word, studyfinancing.sx.